Every government in history has asked the same question: how do we fund what we cannot afford? And every government has discovered the same answer: you print the money. And every single time, that answer has destroyed them. This is the story of the 5-stage machine that turns prosperity into chaos, wealth into poverty, and nations into cautionary tales. Let me explain these steps to you one by one. And right now, the machine is running. Welcome to Financial Detective, where we don't predict the future, we reveal the pattern. Before we walk through the 5 stages, you need to understand what government collapse actually is. Not a sudden event, not a random crisis, a sequence, a machine with 5 gears that turn in perfect order, each one triggering the next, until the entire system grinds to a halt. Governments don't fail because of bad luck. They fail because they make the same decisions in the same order every single time. And those decisions follow a pattern so precise, so mathematical, that once you see it, you can predict the outcome with absolute certainty. This isn't about politics. This isn't about ideology. This is about math. And the math says, if you complete stage 1, you will complete stage 5. The timeline varies. The speed changes, but the sequence never does. Let me show you how the machine works. Every collapse begins the same way, not with poverty, with prosperity, or at least the illusion of it. Here's how it works. A government wants to deliver infrastructure, healthcare, education, military, social programs, all good things, all expensive things. And the tax revenue isn't enough to pay for it all. So the government faces a choice: cut spending and disappoint voters, or borrow money and deliver now, pay later. They choose to borrow every time. At first, this works beautifully. The borrowed money flows into the economy, roads get built, hospitals open, public sector salaries increase, people feel wealthier, businesses grow, tax revenue increases slightly. And the government says, see, the borrowing is working. We're investing in growth. The debt will pay for itself. But here's the trap. The borrowed money creates growth, but it's artificial growth. It's not built on production. It's built on consumption funded by debt. The country isn't creating more wealth. It's spending future wealth today. And because it works in the short term, the borrowing accelerates. Year 1, borrow 5% of GDP. Year 5, borrow 8%. Year 10, borrow 12%. Each year, the debt grows faster than the economy. The government tells itself, this is temporary. We'll grow our way out of it. Tax revenue will catch up. We just need a few more years. They never catch up. By the time the debt reaches 80%, 100%, 120% of GDP, the interest payments alone consume 10%, 15%, 20% of the budget. The government is now borrowing just to pay interest on previous borrowing. This is the debt spiral. And once it begins, there are only 2 ways out: austerity or printing. Austerity means cutting spending, raising taxes, breaking promises. Politically impossible. So governments always choose the other option. They print. Stage 1, complete. The illusion of wealth has been created. The debt spiral has begun. And stage 2 is now inevitable. When the debt becomes unsustainable, when borrowing costs spike, when creditors start demanding higher interest rates, the government faces a moment of truth. They can't raise taxes enough. The population won't accept it. They can't cut spending enough. The programs are too popular. They can't default. That would trigger systemic collapse. So they do what every failing government does. They debase the currency. In ancient times, this meant mixing copper into silver coins. The face value stayed the same, but the real value plummeted. Today, it's more sophisticated. Central banks print money electronically and use it to buy government bonds. They call it quantitative easing or monetary stimulus. But the mechanism is identical. Create money from nothing. Use it to fund government spending. And at first, this seems to work. The government gets the money it needs, bond yields stay low, crisis averted. But here's what they don't tell you. Printing money is a hidden tax. Every new unit of currency created dilutes the value of existing currency. Your savings lose purchasing power, your salary buys less. Prices rise. They called it inflation. But it's theft. A transfer of wealth from savers to the government, from workers to those who control the money supply. In year one, inflation is 2%, 3%. Manageable, the government says it's transitory. Supply chain issues, temporary disruptions. In year three, inflation is 5%, 7%. Still manageable, but people notice. Groceries cost more, rent increases, wages don't keep up. In year five, inflation is 10%, 15%. No longer manageable. The middle class is being destroyed. Savings evaporate. Purchasing power collapses. And the government has a choice. Stop printing and trigger a deflationary depression, or keep printing and accept hyperinflation. They always keep printing because stopping means admitting failure. Stopping means defaulting on promises. Stopping means political suicide. So they accelerate, print more, monetize more debt, devalue faster. The currency, which was once stable, which was once trusted, begins to die, slowly at first, then catastrophically. Stage 2 complete. The currency has been debased. Inflation is accelerating, and the people are beginning to notice. Stage 3 is now inevitable. This is the stage where the illusion shatters, where the population realizes the game is rigged, where trust in the currency, in the government, in the system itself evaporates. It begins with the wealthy. They see the writing on the wall first. They have financial advisors. They understand balance sheets, and they start moving assets out of the currency, into gold, into foreign currency, into real estate, into anything that holds value when paper money doesn't. This is called capital flight, and it's rational. If you know the currency is being debased, if you know inflation is accelerating, the smart move is to exit before everyone else does. But when the wealthy exit, the middle class notices. They don't have the same resources, but they start protecting themselves too. Small business owners buy inventory early, knowing prices will rise. Workers demand higher wages. Consumers hoard goods. This creates a feedback loop. As people lose faith in the currency, they spend it faster. Velocity increases. And as velocity increases, inflation accelerates even more. The government's response is always the same. Denial, then blame. First, they deny there's a problem. Inflation is transitory. The economy is strong. Trust the system. When that stops working, they blame external forces. It's the war. It's the supply chain. It's speculators. It's foreign manipulation. When that stops working, they blame the people. It's panic buying. It's greed. It's lack of patriotism. But the truth is unavoidable. The currency is dying because the government killed it. And now, the population knows. At this stage, you see specific behaviors emerge. Black markets flourish. People trade in foreign currency or barter. The official exchange rate becomes meaningless. Asset prices spike. Real estate, gold, anything tangible becomes a store of value. Prices disconnect from fundamentals. Social cohesion fractures. The wealthy are seen as traitors for moving money abroad. The poor riot because they can't afford food. The middle class is crushed between the two. This is the stage where the social contract breaks. The implicit agreement between government and citizens will follow the rules if the system is fair, disintegrates. And when trust is gone, when the population no longer believes the government can or will protect the currency, stage 4 becomes inevitable. Stage 3, complete. Trust has been lost, capital is fleeing, the social contract is broken, and the government, desperate to maintain control, moves to stage 4. When the government loses control of the currency, when capital flees, when the population stops cooperating, there's only one move left: force. This is the stage where economic failure becomes political oppression, where desperate governments impose controls that destroy what's left of the economy in a futile attempt to stop the bleeding. The pattern is always the same. Capital controls. The government makes it illegal to move money out of the country, foreign currency purchases are banned or heavily restricted, banks are ordered to freeze accounts, borders are monitored for cash smuggling. The official justification: we're protecting the economy from speculators and traders. The real reason: they're trying to trap wealth inside the country so it can be taxed, inflated away, or confiscated. Price controls. The government declares that inflation is caused by greedy businesses, so they impose price ceilings. Bread must be sold at X price, gasoline at Y price, rent at Z price. The result is predictable. Businesses can't operate at those prices. They close, shortages emerge, black markets explode, the official economy dies. But the government insists the policy is working. We've controlled prices. The greedy capitalists just aren't cooperating. Currency restrictions. Multiple exchange rates are created. An official rate that's completely fictional. A black market rate that reflects reality. The gap between the two can be 10x, 20x, 50x. This creates a corrupt system where those with political connections can buy foreign currency at the official rate and sell it at the black market rate, making instant fortunes while the population starves. Confiscation. The government, desperate for revenue, starts seizing private wealth. First, they go after the rich. Excess profit taxes, wealth taxes, windfall taxes. Then, they go after everyone. Pension funds are nationalized. Bank deposits are forcibly converted to government bonds. Gold ownership is banned. They call it shared sacrifice or economic patriotism. It's theft. Media control. Independent media is shut down or intimidated. Journalists who report on the crisis are arrested for spreading panic or undermining national security. The official narrative becomes mandatory. The economy is recovering. Trust the government. The crisis is caused by external enemies and internal traitors. At this stage, the government is no longer trying to fix the economy. They're trying to control the narrative long enough to avoid being overthrown. But it doesn't work. Because you cannot control an economy into prosperity. You cannot force trust. You cannot legislate away mathematical reality. The controls make everything worse. Production collapses. The black market becomes larger than the official economy. Crime explodes. The most talented people flee if they can. And the government, having exhausted every tool, every lie, every coercive measure, arrives at the final stage. Stage 4, complete. The crackdown has failed. The economy is paralyzed. The population is desperate. And stage 5 is now unavoidable. This is the end. Not gradual decline, total collapse. The currency that took decades to build, that was trusted by millions, that facilitated billions of transactions, becomes worthless. Literally worthless. People won't accept it. Not for food, not for fuel, not for anything. At this stage, several outcomes are possible, and all of them are catastrophic. Hyperinflation. Prices double daily, then hourly. The currency dies in real time. Weimar Germany in 1923, Zimbabwe in 2008, Venezuela in 2018. The pattern is identical. People carry wheelbarrows of cash to buy bread. Savings vanish overnight. Life savings become worthless paper. Currency replacement. The government abandons the old currency and issues a new one. This time will be different. This new currency is backed by reforms, by gold, by trust. It never is. Because the same government that destroyed the first currency is issuing the second. And the pattern repeats. Dollarization. The population abandons the national currency entirely and switches to a foreign currency, usually the US dollar. The government loses all monetary sovereignty. They can no longer print, can no longer inflate, can no longer fund deficits. This stabilizes the economy, but only after the population has been impoverished. Social collapse. When money stops working, society stops working, supply chains break down, hospitals run out of medicine, Food becomes scarce, crime explodes, violence becomes routine. The middle class, which held society together, has been wiped out. The wealthy have already fled. The poor riot, and the government, which spent decades building the machine that destroyed everything, either falls or transforms into outright dictatorship. Political revolution. Often, Stage 5 doesn't just mean economic reset. It means regime change. The government that oversaw the collapse is overthrown, either through elections, if the system still functions, or through violence if it doesn't. And what replaces it? Sometimes, something better. More often, something worse. Because revolutions and economic chaos rarely produce stable democracies. They produce strongmen who promise order, who blame scapegoats, who offer simple solutions to complex problems. This is Stage 5, the reset. The end of one system and the chaotic, brutal birth of whatever comes next. Stage 5, complete. The currency is dead. The economy is reset. The social contract is rewritten, usually in blood. And the survivors, if they've learned anything, vow never to repeat the pattern. But they always do. Now, let's address the obvious question. If this pattern is so clear, why does every government fall into it? The answer is simple. Political incentives. Stage 1 feels like success. Borrow and spend. Deliver popular programs. Win elections. The costs are in the future. The benefits are now. Every politician prefers now. Stage 2 is disguised. Printing money isn't presented as theft. It's stimulus. Supporting the economy. Ensuring growth. The inflation comes later. The political benefits come immediately. Stage 3 is where denial sets in. No government wants to admit they've destroyed the currency, so they blame external factors. And by the time the truth is undeniable, it's too late to reverse course without triggering immediate crisis. Stage 4 is desperation. The government knows the system is failing, but admitting failure means losing power, so they double down, impose controls, increase enforcement, hope they can hold on long enough for something to change. Stage 5 is inevitable, because at no point in stages 1 through 4 does the government make the hard choice. Cut spending, stop printing, accept short-term pain for long-term stability. They never make that choice, because making it costs them power today, and politicians optimize for today. This is why the pattern is universal. It's not about competence, it's not about intelligence, it's about incentives. And the incentives built into democratic systems, where politicians must win elections every few years, always push toward borrowing, printing, and crisis. The only governments that avoid the pattern are those that impose external constraints, constitutional limits on borrowing, independent central banks that cannot be controlled politically, currency boards that tie the currency to a foreign anchor. But even these mechanisms can be dismantled when crisis comes. When voters demand action, when politicians promise solutions, the constraints are removed. This time is different. This time, we know what we're doing. It never is, and they never do. So where is the world in this pattern right now, in 2025? Stage 1, complete. Global debt is over $315 trillion. That's 333% of global GDP. Governments have been borrowing to fund promises they cannot keep for decades. The illusion of wealth is total. Stage 2, in progress. Central banks have printed over $25 trillion since 2008. The debasement is underway. Inflation, which was dormant for decades, has returned. 2021, 4%. 2022, 8%. 2023, still elevated. The currency debasement is accelerating. Stage 3, beginning. Capital flight is starting. The wealthy are moving to gold, Bitcoin, real estate. Central banks globally are buying gold at record pace. Why? Because they don't trust other currencies, including their own. Trust is eroding. Stage 4, not yet. capital controls, price controls, confiscation. These haven't arrived in major economies yet. But the legal framework is being prepared. Emergency powers, financial stability measures. When the crisis intensifies, Stage 4 will be implemented rapidly. Stage 5, coming. The reset is inevitable. The math says so. $315 trillion in debt cannot be repaid. It can only be inflated away or defaulted on. Either path leads to currency destruction and economic reset. The timeline is uncertain. Maybe 5 years, maybe 10, maybe less, but the sequence is locked in. Because once you complete Stage 1, you complete Stage 5. The machine doesn't stop, it only accelerates. "300 years of history, dozens of governments, different continents, different centuries, different ideologies, but the same 5-stage pattern every single time. Stage 1, borrow beyond your means. Create the illusion of wealth. Stage 2, print money to service the debt, debase the currency. Stage 3, lose the population's trust. Watch capital flee. Stage 4, impose controls. Try to force compliance. Stage 5, collapse, reset, start over. The pattern is mathematical. The sequence is inevitable. And right now, the machine is running at Stage 2, accelerating toward Stage 3. You cannot vote your way out of mathematics. You cannot legislate away debt. You cannot print your way to prosperity. The pattern says what comes next, and the pattern has never been wrong. Here's the question for you. If you know the sequence, if you understand what's coming, what do you do? Do you trust the system to fix itself, or do you prepare for the reset? Leave your answer in the comments. And if this changed how you see government debt, currency printing, and the inevitable collapse that follows, subscribe. Because the machine doesn't stop. Stage 3 is loading, and you'll want to understand what happens when trust evaporates completely. The pattern is playing out right now. The only question is how fast.